Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Wednesday's Market Intel Brief, coming in from beautiful Aspen, Colorado. Flew out here yesterday, got a good day skiing in today. Actually took a little break to come in and trade for a little bit, which we'll cover, and now just hanging out, doing a little après ski, checking back in and seeing how everything's going. Quick rundown. Just because we're not covering something or our media aren't covering something doesn't mean it's not happening. I mean, like Air Force in Europe seeks defense against Chinese drones and Russian cruise missiles. There are bad guys out there, folks, and they really want to do our nation harm. And the toughest time for this country is when we're transitioning from one administration to another, because our enemies usually try to exploit that transition time, especially with the with just the absolute buffoonery going on with the current president and the incoming administration. And we really need to kind of put this thing to bed, for better, for worse. Kind of join hands, kumbaya, and press forward as a country. It just doesn't help for half the country to be bitter and you know you take your lumps and you move on, man. You debrief, you figure out what went wrong, and the next time you execute the same mission, you do better. So that's kind of where we are, and that's we're seeing a little bit of that seep into the market here, right? Joe Biden winning, Donald Trump winning, the markets move on, right? Whether it's 9/11, the financial crisis, the dot-com bubble burst, the financial crisis, or the '87 crash. You can point to any sort of big event in our nation's history that might have been considered bad, and we recover from it, right? But we're America, man. Let's get on with it and press forward. But just because we're not talking about stuff doesn't mean there's potential bad stuff going on. China still over here poking with Taiwan. They are really, really into it right now with Australia. This is the threat, right? An explosive China is the threat. We have Democrat congressmen sleeping with Chinese agents, married Democrat congressmen with kids sleeping with Chinese agents. And it kind of makes sense why during the whole impeachment crisis, that guy was just going after the president. Most folks, when they're accusing you of doing something, might be actually, in fact, doing the same thing. So it's just really interesting to see how half of our politicians treat China, just like Hollywood. Check out the poster for Maverick, right? Top Gun 2, Maverick coming out. What flag is missing off of his leather flight jacket? You don't have to answer. I'll tell you. Taiwan. Take a look at the original Top Gun leather jacket that he wears with Christie. They have the flag of Taiwan on the back. Gone because China owns Hollywood. Ask Richard Gere how his acting career is going. The dude, he more or less can't work in Hollywood. Why? He's a Buddhist, a huge free Tibet type of guy, big China, critic, and he ain't allowed. He hasn't worked again. Anyway, I'm rambling. What am I getting at? As we're transitioning potentially to a new administration, we got to keep our eyeballs downrange for things that can reach out and potentially hit our market out of the blue, because we're kind of, take a look at this. We had nice rip your face off rally post-election, and good old Pfizer coming out 5 days after the election like, oh yeah, by the way, we have a vaccine, as the CEO of Pfizer sells all his stock. Nothing to see here, folks. And then we kind of have this gradual, now we're at the double top here. That's very, very, very interesting. A little breather last week, which was needed, back down to 36.50, and then kind of up here. But we're in stimulus deal holding pattern. I've been briefing this for weeks, man. It's just insane. We had a retail sales report this morning that was not good, and we still got Nancy, and there's even senior Democrat senators saying, hey, Nancy, move, go, get something done. We look like a clown car, which of course Washington is full of clowns in a car. So here we go. And remember, folks, not one politician has lost their job. Not one politician has lost their business. But we got, feel the pain. Up here in Aspen, man, it's comical. It's great for me because, I get this socially isolate, man. I get a gondola to myself. I get a chairlift to myself. But the lodges, like Blondie's or Ruthie's Lodge here on Aspen, they have like these bubbles outside. So you have to eat inside, outside, outside. It just, whatever. It makes no sense. All right, so let's talk about what happened today with the Fed. Fed updates plans for bond buying, but makes no change to asset purchases. More or less, they sat here and said, we're going to keep you guys all on crack until 2023. So check out what I did, man. Where was it? Right here. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. I will show you what I did. So Top Gun Options, no live trade briefs this week, as I've briefed repeatedly. So I'm taking the next 2 weeks off, this week and then next week for Christmas. But obviously with our investment clubs, I did, and then shared it with the group in SPX Bear Calls. But I love what these guys said over here. Wow, SPX turned real quick, and then where is it? This was fun. I literally skied in here. And took a look at what the fit. Rick, Wiz's timing on selling the SPX spread was precisely when it turned over. I sold the same spread a little later for $1. Ding, yes, he sold to open. Bear call spread at $1.35 and buy to close at 65. Goose, I've never seen anyone that hits those swing trades on the SPX like he does, never until joining TGO. So this is what happened, because I knew the Fed was going to come out and do nothing, right? But what's the market always expect out of the Fed? More crack. But Jerome Powell's like, we're kind of okay with the crack you guys got right now. So here's what I did. Let's take a look at the orders, because men lie, numbers don't. Today at 1:30, came in, eating my bean with bacon soup, sitting here. Slope side, I sold 30. I sold the 37.10, 37.15 at $1.25, and actually I got out of it at 55 cents. So that's a $2,100. That's $2,100 profit today, as I came in and ate lunch. That was pretty cool. So you can see I placed this trade. But I left to go skiing. I'm like, let me get out of it. Take a look at what SPX had to do today. So right here, it imploded. Boom. And then we had a big, massive rally. It's an algo rally. And then this is where we closed. So again, you don't have to, I don't sit here all day, folks. I skied for a good 7 hours today, came home for soup, made $2,100 and went out and skied the rest of the day. Didn't even look at my phone, was sitting on the chairlift, didn't even have to do anything. Good stuff. Really, really happy with that nice trade today. How about Microsoft, man? So I have this week, Microsoft, massive pop. Big upgrade out of Bank of America. Bank of America buy rating in a 256 price target. So for the, let's take a look at past 3 days here. Boom, huge pop. And I sold a bear call spread right here, and I sent that one out as well. But I have a covered call. See here, right here. I sold this bear call spread this morning, the 220, 225 and a half. But let's take a look at my Microsoft covered call here. Look at this. So the stock itself is up about 18 grand, but I sold these short calls, sold 30 of the 217 and a half for Friday, and those are. Now here's an interesting exercise, folks. Do you call that losing money? I love when people are like, oh my God, my short calls are losing money. Do you care about the up 18? Oh my! So net, folks, I'm up 15,450 in Microsoft. If you're somebody who's like, yeah, but I could be up the 18,480, then don't sell the short calls. I didn't know Bank of America was going to come out with a big upgrade. But here's, I picked on Monday a price, 217 and a half by Friday, where I'd love to get out of Microsoft at. That's a nice tactic, folks. Bringing in, let's take a look at that. I'm going to bring in, no matter what happens with Microsoft, $4,400 this week on Microsoft. If it's above 217 and a half, I'm going to wake up here to go skiing Saturday. I'm going to look at my account. If it's above 217 and a half, these 3,000 shares are gone. If it's below 217 and a half Saturday morning, guess what happens? I'm going to sell. I don't know. Well, it depends on what Microsoft's at for next Friday. I do this every week, selling covered calls every week for consistent income. Okay, so let's take a look at the covered calls. These were what? 44.10. I also did an Apple covered call. Apple had a nice little pop this week as well. So I sold the 124s out to Friday. So no matter what with Apple, I'm bringing in 3. So let's say 4 plus 3, $4 grand from the Microsoft, 3 plus from the Apple is 7. Okay, so there's 7 grand. No matter what happens with either of those stocks, I bring that in as a credit. I also sold 4 against my Amazon synthetic stock. I sold the 3250s. Okay, and that is 7 right there. So 7 from the Microsoft and Apple covered calls plus 7 with the covered call with the synthetic stock. It's $14,000 potentially this week just in covered call income. 14,000 times 52 trading weeks. That's potentially, if you'll allow me to round up, $750,000 a year, folks. The covered call tactic is a fantastic, nice conservative way to potentially make consistent income on a weekly basis, right? Find a stock you'd love to own. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. This is my MA trade. This is my MA personal account. MA, when in doubt, run to MA, right? Run to Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. And this is just doing absolutely fantastic. How are we doing year to date in this portfolio? That's not too up $123,000 with these two of these personal accounts right here. This one, 1760 is the portfolio margining account. What's my loser this year? Some weekly trades on SPX. Some days you're the windshield, some days you're the bug. Disney got burned a couple times on Lula in this portfolio. Oh, Grub too. Ooh, Mountain. I'm actually getting a shower right now. Gonna throw some clothes on. Might go buy a cowboy hat. But I'm gonna go do some research. Even though it's Aspen, this is Vail Mountain Resorts. It's not dead, but it's not packed. And then the lodges, you got to make a reservation or stand in line. They're definitely not making as much money, obviously, as they would. But I'm going to go do some intel tonight and talk to some lift workers and see what I can see. Okay, so all right, guys, good stuff. Anything else? What else did I have to cover? Amazon. Oh yeah, the Amazon Fitness Tracker. Oh boy, Amazon Fitness Tracker hits the market. Amazon's had a great couple days. 2, I think, days of rip your face off rallies. Where are we? Oh, let's kind of do the 3-month here. Well, it's there's the top of the range. This is why I sold those 3250 calls, right? The top of the range here. I've been waiting for Amazon to lift off, kind of just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Hopefully it gets airborne here soon. But Amazon jumping into the fitness tracker market is great news. Oh yeah, Massachusetts regulators file complaint against Robinhood. It does, man. Unnecessary risk. Looking at my God, man, it's like Tinder. Not that I know what Tinder is or Bumble. Perhaps. Folks, this is insane the way that app's set up. They do not show the risk, the reward. They shoot confetti on the screen when you do this, and it's really hard to sell. It's nuts. It's nuts. This isn't rocket surgery, folks. It's not uber hard, and that's why I love the E-Trade platform, man. So I can, over here, like the risk slide. I can look and say, hey, the overall market's going down 5%. I could lose. Stop moving. 64 grand if it goes up. You always got to be looking at risk, and it's just I couldn't trade with a platform that kind of encourages risk taking, folks. Life's tough. It's even tougher if you're stupid. Not being able to analyze a position and how much risk and potential reward and everything like that is just nuts. It's nuts. So I'm glad that the regulators are starting to poke around with Robinhood. Don't get me wrong, man. I want an open market, and I want little old ladies in tennis shoes or mom and pop, whoever, learning how to trade. But I don't want them being kind of lied to and manipulated or using a platform that just, even the guy admitted, he's like, hey, man, yeah, we kind of use like social engineering and, all sorts of stuff to kind of play with people mentally to get them to trade. That's just, I don't know, man. We're in uncharted territory with this, so I'm going to see how this turns out. But folks, please, if you're trading with a Robinhood, maybe go look elsewhere for a good platform that's going to show you black and white, man, what's going on, because this is our motto at Top Gun Options: discipline, risk management equals superior execution. And if you got some sort of crack platform that's just not good, you're going to get hurt. So please don't do that. Okay, I got to get going. Have a great rest of your day. I'll maybe do a sit rep tomorrow or Friday. Just depends on what's going on. I loved skiing in and making $2,100 on SPX today off Jerome Powell. So that was pretty nice. So have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless everybody. I appreciate it.